Hello, today's video is going to be the facts that I learned about Louis Braille. So Louis Braille was sadly he died at at the age of 43. I think that's what it said on the email that I got today. In this email, they have read the facts about Louis Braille. So when I was reading the facts about him, it's very interesting. So Louis Braille, he basically created Braille system on when he was 15 years of age. So he was helping his dad to do his job, which was something to do with a metal. And then the piece of metal got into his eyes, and then he lost his eyesight. Then he was trying to learn how to read and write. He was reading like a tactile books that were given to him in school. And then one day a man from the military came and he introduced to Louis and to everyone else the Morse code system. So basically I think he demonstrated the Morse code system and how it worked for the military. And then Louis came with this idea that the idea of Braille would be good because he actually, I think these Morse code were tactile, so he was able to feel them and stuff like that. So then he came across with this idea of Braille. At firstly, let's just say he was testing it out. So he was getting the teachers to read Braille to him and all things like that. And then Braille became kind of popular in our day and age. So it had become available in several different languages. And the interesting thing about, you may think that Braille has originated from America. No, it hasn't. It originated from France, because the school that Louis went to was in Paris, and he invented Braille in there. Yeah, so Braille was invented in France. I don't know if I can't remember if Louis was a French guy himself. I think he is, judging by the name, because I mean it can be a French name also. So yeah, you may think that Braille has originated from America, but no, it's not. It hasn't. And this is the thing. When I was giving the Braille book, the Braille menu, when I was in Paris, I didn't know how to read this. Like, I was thinking, okay, how do I read this system? And it didn't feel familiar to me, let's just say. So I was like, okay, how is this possible to read? And some of the letters, yes, I was able to identify, but some of them were just kind of symbols and stuff like that. So from my understanding, Louis has created a different feel of symbols, just like a Morse code in that book that the guy from the military showed him and the other lads in the school. So my conclusion is this: we basically, us visually impaired people, we basically read Morse codes, if you think about it, because it's really interesting. We basically read Braille is technically, if you think about, is a Morse code. It's a tactile Morse code. So if it wasn't for Louis' accident, and if it wasn't for this guy, we wouldn't have Braille by now. So all I gotta say is, thankfully, I mean, yeah, it's not good that Louis had that accident, but if it wasn't for that accident, and if it wasn't for this guy who came, then we wouldn't have Braille by now. So thanks to Louis and to this guy that created Braille. Without them, us visually impaired people, we don't know. I mean, nowadays, yes, there are technologies that can read aloud for us. Yes, we don't really use Braille that much anymore, but in the centuries, like 1980s, we would have been screwed, because how would we be able to read? Because from my understanding, Braille has been created in 80th century, 90s, well, earlier than 90s, like in 1890s, pretty much like that. So in 1890s, us visually impaired people, I don't know, if I was born in the 1890s and Braille wasn't invented yet, well, maybe there will be a way for me to read, but I don't know, because Braille is pretty much all that was invented in that century and in that year. So again, I'm really thankful that Louis had came up with this great idea. And yeah. So these are the interesting facts that I learned about Louis Braille. Let me know in the comments section, what do you think? And did you actually know this story? Because when I read it this morning, I was really inspired by that. I was truly inspired. I was like, wow, okay, this is really interesting. I gotta put this up. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you next time. Viewfinder, finish. Double tap the host. 7 minutes, 12 seconds. Stop recording. Take picture. Stop recording video. Button.